Quem já viu isso? Sou like, joguei todos.
Já joguei todos. Eu zerei todos.
Platinei todos. Eu tava jogando Hellpoint, eu tenho que voltar a jogar Hellpoint, é legalzinho até.
Puta, cara, eu sempre quis jogar Hellpoint. É massa?
É legalzinho. É um Souls-like de...
No espaço, né?
É, daí tu pega uma armadura que parece... Predador, assim, é legal. Mas é claro que ele tem um jeitão de indie, eu acho que ele é indie, né?
É, ele é indie.
Daí tem que...
Quando ele tava pra lançar, eu quase participei do Kickstarter. Só uma coisinha que eu não participei do Kickstarter dele. Foi a minha mulher falou não.
É, daí a pessoa tem que compreender que ele tem umas limitações, né? Mas ele é legal.
Eu vou falar, o Ashin Elite é foda, hein? Porra, pensa num cara que briga. Ele só faltou enfiar a espada no cu e falar: ó, te transformei num picolé.
Good evening, nurse.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Appreciate.
How would you describe the situation
Cara.
at the Pembroke Hospital?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Cara, é um hit do maluco, eu morro.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu
Tem,
won't last
Eu acho que ele tá um pouquinho forte.
kill everyone.
I wish I could
Não
believe you.
tem evolução.
But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Não, tu evolui. Não, tu evolui. Tem umas paradas que tu evolui.
I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
Não, de level não, mas conforme tu vai matando os...
How long have
Cara,
you
ele é
been a
muito
nurse?
We're
rápido.
long enough to see that the
Caralho,
epidemic
2 hits ele me
And
matou.
no matter how
E a minha
qualified
postura
you
ainda
are,
foi pro caralho
don't
ainda,
tell
né?
me you'll change that.
You'd be surprised what dedication.
Porra, meu filho, mas daí tu me sacaneia. Eu vou pegar a praga do dragão rapidão assim.
Sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
How is the Pembroke staff coping with
Que
the
mulher
epidemic?
grossa.
Well, not
Só
well.
grossa.
Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Falou que não tá com vontade de conversar.
Why is Milton grumpy
Dou uma
on a
mordida na
daily
pescoço
basis?
assim.
Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Why does Milton
Eu sou
dislike
vampiro, caralho.
doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned, Milton is not the chatty type.
Ah, caralho, cara. Porra, tu esquiva. Esse maluco tá sempre no lugar certo, na hora certa. Não tem como matar esse maluco, velho. Esse cara é muito bom. Na moral, se desse pra invocar ajuda, ainda assim o jogo ia ser muito impossível. É, pra tu apanhar com um amigo, pelo menos.
Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the
Porque no Elden Ring, beleza, tu se junta com os caras lá e tal.
You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know.
Ai, caralho, a postura dele é bem baixa. Mas ele é muito rápido a ponto de não dar tempo de tu acertar.
Why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am.
Foi a primeira vida, hein,
What I
bonzão?
feel within this hollow
E
shell of
agora?
flesh.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of pustulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French
Ah, ô
neurologist
Brian,
named
é que tu não matou aquele cavaleiro, né?
Patients are delusional. They believe that they are
Então, depois que tu mata ele, tu entende como o Pali.
or in your
Tu
case,
ganha a lembrança dele, daí a lembrança upa a tua força, entendeu?
It's immortal. You can't even begin to understand the
A
concept
lembrança
of time.
dele
And you
upa a
think
tua
it is
força
I
e
who am
os
delusional.
colar que tu pega, as contas que tu pega do pescoço dos
I'm
subchefes,
assuming you must be a
vai
patient.
aumentar a
Am I right,
tua
Miss Howcroft?
vitalidade e estamina.
To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure.
É,
But I sense
que
them
não é nem
raising
um
me
pouco
from nearby.
fácil.
I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will not find you here. I'll personally make sure they leave you.
É pra direita
Thank
que
you,
tu
mortal,
esquiva,
but do
porra.
not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Ai, meu pau de asa.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a
É
vampire.
pra direita, demônio, pra direita. Direita.
What do you require?
Bate
Proof of my
direito,
powers?
bate
I'm
direito,
curious
bate
to know who
direito.
you were
Se
before.
for pra esquerda, o cara vai...
It was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds.
O problema é uma pecinha que fica atrás do controle.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
A mulher é lelé, cara.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Reed, yes, I've been informed about your arrival. I'm Waverly Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Ai,
If you have a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital could use all the help it can get.
The
You will
hospital.
agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reed. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
O Pedro saiu, rapaz.
There is no need for such animosity between us.
vamos lá.
Don't you
Vamos
think
lá.
the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we
Tá
can
com
agree on.
invejinha de
Filha da
mim,
And
puta.
that
cara.
is
de molho
precisely why I
pescoço.
want to be sure that you will be a
caralho!
help in this hospital instead of a burden.
Dou uma
Since your
chupada
tenure
nele.
in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Ah, cara, porra, eu esquivei, eu
Exactly
esquivei.
what are you
Ah,
talking
vai se
about?
fuder.
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for
Ah,
experimentation.
que jogo de
They're here
merda.
to be
Que
healed.
jogo é uma
I don't
merda.
intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor.
Jogo de bosta.
Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work.
Pior que eu vou ser obrigado a abrir uma live pra jogar quando eu for jogar contra o macaco.
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reed, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Knowledge has always
Tá ligado
been and
quando
will
tu
remain
pega um
our baby.
personagem que tá no final do
It has
Mortal
always
Kombat
come
e tu
with a
pega um
price.
personagem apelão que usa um golpe só?
It is not a question of initiative.
Então, é
it is a
exatamente
question
essa a
of
sensação.
integrity.
Esse personagem ele tem um golpe
These
só.
men and
Ele só
women
tem um
have put
golpe.
their faith in us, Dr.
De
Reed.
sacanagem.
It seems you
E é
have
só o que ele
bad
faz.
memories of your
Ele fica usando esse golpe.
I refuse to see this
É
industrial
super
slaughter as
difícil de
scientific
chegar
progress.
de
War only reveals the worst.
desviar.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
Tipo, ele usa seguido, tipo, porque daí duas vezes, se ele usar duas vezes, é morte instantânea. Ó, do tempo que eu comecei a explicar, fazer a analogia do Mortal Kombat, eu morri duas vezes pra ele.
Credo.
Pra ter uma noção. Que jogo difícil da porra, velho. Vai tomar no cu, porque eu tô jogando isso. Esse
I'm
jogo é uma
Dr.
merda.
Jonathan Reed. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reed? I've
Eu
heard much of your
defendi,
talents
demônio.
as a
Esse
physician.
golpe era pra ser defendido.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
May I ask if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the
Esse jogo é uma
utmost
merda. Esse jogo é uma
reservations
merda.
about this
Esse
hospital
jogo é uma
since we
merda.
arrived. But we had no other
Ó.
choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in
Bosta
particular
de
that's
jogo.
bothering
Que
you?
bosta
Some
de
of the
jogo.
staff were not especially
Miyazaki tava com os cabelos.
I
Tava
suspect they're
programando
not
com os cabelos do
accustomed to
cu.
dealing with patients of such social standing.
Filho de uma puta, cara. Filho de uma puta.
About your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital.
Japonês desgraçado mesmo. Puta que pariu. Não é à toa que tomaram uma bomba na cabeça.
For a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief.
Tá em live, Patrick?
Aham.
É, deu ruim. Tá.
O quê?
She charged you for a bed.
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
Deu
Ah,
ruim,
cara, porra, ele já
I
morreu!
share your concern, Mrs. Goswick.
Tu falou,
Be
tu
sure
falou
that
alguma
I'll talk to
coisa?
the people involved.
I don't expect
Não, nada
compensation,
demais.
Dr. Reed. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
A menina cadeia não, tá louco?
Ah, se fuder. Eu vou pra cadeia por causa
What can you
disso.
tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Não vou pra
Not
cadeia.
much to say.
Um golinho d'água.
Take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the
Poxa, por
expenses.
favor.
That's
Aquele
all
dia
that
tu tomou
matters.
da minha água. É.
Calma, calma.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and
praticamente.
I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
Tu me fez assistir Crepúsculo. Ela fala que é maravilhoso. Ah, cara, o cara não deixa eu me curar, mano. Puta que pariu, velho. Porra, tu quebra a postura dele, tira uma vida, os outros param e levantam. Esse ele não para, em momento nenhum ele para. Tipo, ele fica te atacando, o personagem não tem barra de estamina. Eu tenho um ódio disso.
I believe we're going to be working together. Dr. Reed. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir. Thank you. And you are? I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reed.
Tinha que ser um velho mesmo, né? Ah, eu apertei X.
Could you tell me something about yourself? I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reed.
Já viu? Isso é em todo filme japonês. Se aparecer um velho que tem uma espada, seja o principal, seja o vilão, seja quem for, tá fudido, que o velho luta pra caralho.
É o mestre.
E aí aqui ia ser diferente? Claro que não. Pula, quando tu vê esse símbolo, pula. É, não deu. Ah, foda-se, vou tentar de novo. Morre. Cala a boca tu também, Brad. Vai apanhar todo mundo. Não, vou matar esse velho. Vai ver.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail. You're not the first one to warn me.
Eu vou matar ele e quando ele estiver morrendo eu vou chegar no ouvido dele e falar assim: cortei tua previdência.
What do you think of Dr. Ackroyd's aversion to modern medical methods? It's a shame he's so narrow-minded. Dr. Swansea taught me that science is about exploring uncharted territory. I'm convinced that's true. With the influenza and all that's going on, you should put your differences aside, don't you think? Why is it so difficult to work together? I believe that if Dr. Ackroyd had been the one to discover the transfusion process, he would be the
A
first to
Netflix ia fazer uma série
so
desse
you
jogo,
believe it's just a question of jealousy.
mas não sei mais em que pé tá
Dr.
isso.
Ackroyd is as proud as he is blinded by his obsolete concept of medical science. What can you tell me about the Pembroke? Well, it has always been an honor
Sei
to
lá,
work with Dr.
Netflix dava
Swansea.
cara.
But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion. You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times. I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science. Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation. True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
What?
Do you need help with anything in particular? Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished. Do you want me to play the errand boy for you? Oh no, Dr. Reed. But if you went personally to his shop, what with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need. I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time. Tell me more about your willingness to explore techniques. Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly.
Tem.
I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him. What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point? Fair question. I want nothing but to save my
Belíssimas
patient,
palavras do
Dr. Reed,
Churchill.
especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story. This personal involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain.
Morre, velho desgraçado. Agora, ó. Eu não paguei tua previdência. Eu. Credo, olha a cueca do velho ali aparecendo.
Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones and flesh. Tell me, Mr. Flick's story. His diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Flick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident. But why would he hide such crucial
Esse
information?
povo aqui é fofoquito, hein? Você pergunta de um cara, eles contam tudo.
Ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence. Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland. Seus safadalhos. Mas eu cadê aquele outro cara que eu tenho que dar uma mijada naquele cara?
Ah, ali, ó. Deve de ser o chefão final. Aqui deve ser o chefão final, cara. Maluco pendurado na pipa lá, retardado. Ih!
É que tá caindo, eu só cliquei pra conversar com o cara, tá carregando o jogo.
Mistress of the dark has stopped following me.
Good evening, sir.
So it is true. The famous Dr. Reed has joined us. I can't think of any better news during these terrible times.
Do we know each other?
Actually, yes. We met once before, at the Rockefeller University in New York.
Dr. Tippett, yes, I remember. I was assisting Professor Carell in his research about coronary bypasses. He had nothing but praise for you.
He was also very confident about your future. And look at you now. Eminent surgeon and blood transfusion specialist.
What can you tell me about the staff in the hospital?
Some are really good, and others are not so good.
Porra, eu acabei de sair do chefão, cara. Não faz isso comigo, não.
I prefer to focus on the positive character traits.
Tell me more about cherished people, then.
Nurse Brannigan is a pearl. She is the most helpful and dedicated nurse I've ever worked with. A clever and cheerful woman.
You really seem to admire her skills.
Ah, tá de sacanagem.
I'll go even further. If she was a man, she would be a damn fine practitioner.
Ah, meu
Any
Deus.
opinion about the management?
I don't always agree with Dr. Swansea's reserve, but I must admit he does all he can to keep this facility running during this crisis.
Ah, yes, the burden of command. I was fed up with this concept while serving as a medical officer.
Don't get me wrong. Swansea's a good administrator. I just wish he would get out of his office now and again.
What is the Pembroke Hospital situation? And please, speak freely.
É uma sacanagem, porque eu nem completo tava.
I'm sure you are used to working in a better environment.
Quando morre, volta pra algum
In any case, the
fogueira
personnel
ou
of a
quê?
hospital are much more important to me than the building.
Ou volta pra ver o começo da fase sem ter fogueira, sem ter checkpoint.
This hospital does not lack talented people. It just lacks hope.
Mas eu tava com, digamos assim, o Estus pela metade já. Eu tinha acabado de sair de uma batalha com o chefe, cara.
That's the blunt truth.
Entrei em outra.
What was the nature of the mistake?
It was a twofold error. My diagnosis was wrong, and the
Aí
administrative
fica foda.
dosage was too strong.
Who was this patient?
I don't know. Some sick man from the docks, maybe a fisherman. I had no time to talk with him. No one claimed the body.
Why not stop practicing?
Are you mad? I killed that man.
Esse vagabundo, seu bicho ruim, rapaz.
I have saved so many lives since then.
É, mas não deu.
Eu não tenho assim de...
Imagina assim, ó, imagina a cena que eu acabei de ver. Um skatista pula da escada, tá ligado? Faz um ollie, pula da escada. E o skate fica entre as pernas dele.
Cara.
E é nessa posição que ele cai no chão.
O skate na vertical, no caso.
É, o skate na vertical.
Esse vai cagar sangue.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening,
Não, ele
Dr.
cuspiu
Reed.
os ovos.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Ele fez que nem no Top Gang. Ah!
O cara gosta de ver as bolas. Você venceu.
Você venceu.
E eu que tava fazendo flexão e minha avó caiu de cima do telhado.
Que?
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, Nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to
Eu
mix the
nunca
remedy
esqueço que
yourself.
tinha aquele
with the same basic
partoba lá.
ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr.
Cara,
Swansea in
vamos
his office. He's
apresentar
been looking for you.
Mr.
Seemed pressing.
Motorzinho. Daí o cara pula de skate na escada e cai com a cara no chão, daí fica.
É, amor, passar desse cara aqui no martelo.
Mr. Motorzinho.
Ah, deixa eu ver. O cara tá fazendo martelo com 40 quilos, vá se foder.
In London at Pembroke.
Done ways to die.
Don't worry, sir. I'll be back in a few minutes. Call me if you need me.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good evening.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Ah, sai fora, babuíno não. Porra, eu não gosto de macaco, cara. Não, eu sei já. Eu já tô ligado já o que tu ia falar. O chefão lá, sem cabeça lá.
The suffering continues.
Ele é um macaco, um gorila branco gigante.
Porra, e no Neo, cara, eu pensei que eu tava no último chefe, ainda tem mais um chefe, daí tem que lutar contra o traidor. Puta que pariu.
Ô, meu, eu vou te falar, cara. Olha, meus parabéns pela resiliência de tu jogar Nioh, porque tu tá jogando pra 20 anos e o jogo nunca chega no fim.
Eu jogo um pouquinho, né? Eu jogo, pá, eu jogo, pá.
The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death.
É tipo, o
You,
Elden Ring
my
eu
friend,
demorei pra
have a
caramba.
foot in
terminar
both
também.
countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea. But my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
I'm a dead man. I was murdered. Now I'm a murderer. Tell me how this is a gift.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And
Ai, que bicho
call
cagão.
me Edgar.
O filho de uma puta.
Thank you.
Apelão do caralho.
Don't speak so lightly about my condition. There is nothing I find amusing about this situation.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me...
Que é isso? Que é isso?
É risada? Ela caiu.
I would just like you to pay her a visit.
Ela tava rindo.
Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
Eu não consigo achar esse filho da mãe desse médico. Onde tá esse médico maledito? I am a vampire.
Vampiro.
Vampiro brasileiro.
It's locked, all right.
É locked, all right. Meu Deus do céu, cara, você é um vampiro, velho. O que que importa se o bagulho tá fechado? Balanga a capa e vai.
Thelma Howcroft said she was being watched by vampire hunters. Where are they hiding? I should investigate.
Ah, cara, não é possível, velho. Pô, o cara muda a direção do ataque carregado. Aí é sacanagem demais, aí não...
It's locked. Good evening. I'm Dr. Reed. Always a pleasure to meet a colleague, sir.
É foda, o cara muda a direção do ataque carregado, cara. Isso não podia ser permitido. É tipo assim, ó, Anubis, pra tu entender, é tipo o cara mudar a direção do ataque no momento que tá rolando, tá ligado?
Ah, os caras do Elden Ring faz isso, tu vai dar um ataque, tu rola e vai te seguir.
I run a little pawn shop while taking care of the dead. But I used to be a real doctor.
Ah, não. Esse jogo é uma merda.
A pawnbroker? I expect you get all types of people here.
Yes, sir. All kind of people. For I sell all kind of goods.
What kind of goods?
With the quarantine, it's not always
Nossa,
easy
mas
to
morri
buy
muito
things.
rápido dessa
So I
vez.
trade. I exchange. Some people sell, some others buy. I like to help.
Please show me what you have to sell.
Of course. It's just trinkets and curios, really. But I'm sure they can be useful.
Oi, amor.
Ela é 10, mas o braço dela é maior que o dele.
Ela é 10?
É, tipo assim, é aquele jogo daí que você tem que falar se reduziu ou subiu a nota dele.
It never ceases to amaze me how you, the dead,
It's locked, all right.
Ela continua 10, ué.
A 10?
Continua 10, meu braço nem é tão grande. Na hora que eu ficar com o braço do tamanho de um frigobar, aí tudo bem. Aí pode ser que não fique tão legal.
Ela continua uma 10, porque ela malha pra caralho.
Tamanho do frigobar.
Aí fizeram essa pergunta se tá na academia e os caras não, ela continua uma 10. Aí perguntaram pra cara que não malha, os caras, não. Aí é uma 6.
Ah, cara, porra, na primeira vez eu consegui de primeira tirar uma vida dele, agora eu não consigo tirar chegar na metade da vida do filho da puta.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick. Unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat,
por baixo
doctor.
da tinta da tatuagem. Será que vai
How could
apagar
your
a
job
tatuagem?
be
Não, né?
responsible for your wife's
Ah, cara, porra! Flecha não faz curva,
She
demônio.
went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German...
Caralho de flecha. Porra. Flecha tá assistiu Velozes e
Tell me
Furiosos e agora
more
vai no
about the
drift.
death of your wife, Harvey.
1915.
A flecha
Porra.
vai no grito, como assim?
Building workshop.
Caralho, cara. Porra, eu não sei também.
Ellen was happy I wasn't sent
O cara
to the front.
puxa a flecha pra um lado e
The
solta
Germans
pro outro.
sent
Vai tomar no
Zeppelins to
cu.
bomb the construction site
Virou
when they
quinto
missed their
elemento
target.
agora? É a arma do Gary Oldman?
My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is
A arma do
my Ellen didn't bring them with her
juiz
that
Dead
day.
lá que travada, é o que travar no cara, tira, vai nos
I'm
caras,
sorry for
faz
your
curva.
loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
Do
I
Forte
would like to
Nelson.
say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
Porra, o cara acerta o golpe no final. Caralho, cara, que ódio, velho. Eu já peguei o esquema de defesa, mas parece que assim, ó, tem que ser milimétrico pra funcionar. Ah, foder. Porra, tu tem que defender milimetricamente no último segundo, porque se tu defende 5 segundos antes, dá errado. Mas eu já peguei. Ataca, ataca, defende, defende, defende. E o cara não defende na última. Na última ele sempre passa. A bosta do Sekiro é que daí ainda fica um monte de animal, um monte de babaca. Os babaca. Lá vem os babaca. E daí bota, terminei em 10 segundos, 30 segundos.
Achei fácil.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility.
Às vezes é editado, né?
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Não, 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 mas não é speedrun. Porque speedrun eu respeito. O cara jogou pra caralho o jogo, é exaustão. Até ele conseguir fazer o que ele tá mostrando ali.
It's locked.
Cara, que chefe nojento, cara.
I'm Dr. Reed.
Nojento.
Can I help at all? No. Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
Cara, e tem um problema também que às vezes tu bota ali a... Seleciona a porra do especial, aí tu tá muito nessa de ataque e defende, e o especial é os dois juntos, tá ligado? É defesa e ataque ao mesmo tempo, L1 e R1. E às vezes tu tá nessa R1, L1, R1, L1, R1, L1, tu, quando, sem querer tu aperta os dois ao mesmo tempo. Aí tu se fudeu.
Daí já era.
Aí já era. Vou até mudar pra botar um especial mais rápido. O último dia é bom, mas tem que ser mais rápido. O personagem é chato.
Questione Grey. Cadê esse cara, velho?
Agora eu não consegui nem atingir ele.
Good evening, nurse. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed, the new surgeon here at the Pembroke.
Dr. Swansea has already told us about you, sir. I'm Nurse Gwyneth Brannigan. Welcome to the Pembroke Hospital.
Did he really? It's a good thing I wasn't hoping to keep a low profile.
All members of staff have already read about your new blood transfusion technique. Dr. Swansea made sure of that.
I see. Well, I'm a little surprised, but I suppose I'll just have to deal with this unexpected notoriety.
You must know, blood transfusions are Dr. Swansea's primary subject of research. He is convinced it is the future.
I'm not familiar with all the staff yet.
Vou dar uma bajulada, né, velho?
Professionals.
Deu crau!
Dr. Swansea has a gift for recruiting
Ó o Pedro aí.
Seu vampirinho.
Is there a problem I should know about
Vampirinho que
It
pega a
would be
veinha.
inappropriate for me to speak ill of a colleague.
Oh, caraca.
Nurse Brannigan, if you do know something, please tell me. Anything you say will be held in confidence.
No.
O que tava fazendo aqui, meu irmão? Tu tá louco?
But in the end, everybody is doing their best.
Aí é fogo.
Why does Dr. Tippett's claim you're the main reason he keeps working, despite his fatigue?
If it wasn't for him, I probably would have left the Pembroke years ago.
Dr. Tippett does not think of you as just a nurse anymore, does he?
If you're suggesting he's not taking my gender into consideration when it comes to medical practice and knowledge, I really hope he doesn't.
Tell me what Dr. Tippett did. I know his mistake caused a patient's death.
If I had not covered up his error, Dr. Tippett would have been fired from this hospital. I could not let that happen.
You can't allow your emotions to dictate your conduct concerning patients, Nurse Brannigan.
Look around you, Dr. Reed. Do you really think we can afford to lose a brilliant practitioner like Dr. Tippett's in our situation?
Perhaps you did it with the best intentions, but you took a great risk. Must I remind you that a man died?
You mean you've never made a mistake? Never covered your tracks? Come on, Doctor.
Ah, cara, eu não acredito. Eu apertei o botão de morte de novo.
I've decided that I won't reveal Dr. Tippett's, shall we say, misdemeanor.
I'm so glad you share my point of view. Dr. Tippett's is a brilliant practitioner. We most definitely need his know-how.
I hope you're right. This is a
O
huge
jogo tá
risk.
quase falando pra mim que tu é um animal. Desiste, seu merda.
Please, keep this decision between you and me. He doesn't need to know you found out.
Obrigado. Ai, eu fiz alguma coisa errada. Por que fracassou?
Toma o saque, toma o saque. Saque é bom, faz bem pra saúde.
Isso aqui é bom.
Vai postura esse merda. Isso.
Perhaps I should have considered the offer from that Cadogan fellow.
The flu took my dear wife, Emily. I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfields, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again
Levanta,
soon.
Sekiro.
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Sekiro é o nome dele ou quer dizer alguma coisa?
É o apelido carinhoso, vamos dizer assim. Ele é Sekiro pros
Good
íntimos.
evening, Dr. Reed. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to
Tem
Pembroke Hospital.
Velho muito louco lá que dá
The lady who saved me that night.
o nome pra ele.
Before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well. in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
Eu vou cumprimentar ela.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my
Tá
questions.
de sacanagem.
You must have countless
Se
questions.
foda, deu na mesma.
But a rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Porra, babuíno não, cara. Babuíno é muito demoníaco.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion. I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy.
Vampira, porra.
I
Morde
must
ele.
refuse his most recent demands.
Pode crer.
If we're dealing
O
with
cara
an
vai
ordinary
extorquir um
criminal,
vampiro,
surely
porra.
you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
É só dominar a mente dele e falar, ah, tá.
Fangs and hypnotic
Devolve
eyes
dinheiro,
ablaze.
tudo certo.
The blood would run like
Oi,
a river.
ah, mordo
That's what
você,
I hope
cara.
to avoid. Violence has a
Desculpa.
tendency to spiral
Perdão.
out of control.
Como é que é?
Ah, mordo você.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of
Ai, se
suspicious
você não
patient deaths.
me fazer isso, eu conto que você é vampiro. Ah, tá. Mordida! Ah!
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case,
E aí,
I'd settle
Cid,
the matter
tudo bom?
myself.
Eu tô
You could
bem,
talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops
O
here
Brian
without her
mandou
hearing
oi pra
about
tu.
it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reed. I'm sure of your discretion.
Eu tô bem.
But I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé.
Ele mandou outro pra tu.
I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.
Cid brabíssimo.
Ididoso.
What is this? Who are you?
Oh,
Get out of my room.
There's no need for alarm, madam. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon.
Preposterous. Dr. Reed, you say? I don't
Tamo
want some
juntão,
bumbling
brigadão
intern.
pra cima dele.
Where's Dr. Swansea?
Acalma,
Please
por
calm
favor.
down, madam. I assure you that I am highly qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
How brave.
Mato
Threatening an old
calango.
defenseless woman. You know how long I've been a patient here? You've picked the wrong fight. I'm Harriet Jones.
Harriet Jones? Indeed. I've been meaning to have a chat with you. You know what goes on here better than any other patient, I gather.
Oh, better than any patient, nurse or doctor. I've seen so many vile undertakings.
I heard there have been some despicable goings-on. Was there a case of blackmail?
Blackmail? Wait. You're investigating something. This isn't a social call. One of those incompetent cunts slit a poor sod's vein.
Você gosta de
If I
fofoca?
didn't
Cara
know
que ela
better,
gosta,
Miss
ela é
Jones,
velha.
I'd be inclined to say you enjoy this type of idle gossip.
God's honest truth, Doctor. It's just the way it is here. Most of these bitches would let you freeze to death before getting you a blanket.
Você é a chantagista?
You seem to know more about the goings-on here than anyone else. Beware, Miss Jones, in case suspicion should fall on you.
That's it. Blame the old and infirm. I see
Ídolo,
those
escultor
bitches, greedy little
encontrado.
eyes, just waiting for me to pop off they are.
E eu não
I
devia ter
assure
feito
you, madam,
isso.
this is not an investigation into a possible medical error.
Debauchery, then? Nurses Crane, Hawkins, Brannigans, whores, all of them. They can't keep their legs shut. I've seen them scratching slutty sores.
Really? Well, if you have irrefutable proof, I'll not have the staff behaving in such a manner here.
This is your business, Doctor, not mine. But I swear one of the nurses is cavorting with some man on hospital hours.
Thank you for your time, Miss Jones. You've given me something to go on. See you on the next round.
Vem cá. Desculpa, desculpa. Eu sem querer.
The patients and staff might know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
O que foi, amor? Por quê?
I'm really sorry, sir. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Cadê essa enfermeira?
Vai ligar como faziam os antigos maias? O cara tem um bazuca. Aí é foda.
Ué, bazuca...
Bazuca? Essa mesmo, que faz boom.
Mas como na era medieval tem bazuca?
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Sabe uma coisa que eu me pergunto também? Como na era do Japão feudal tem cobra gigante,
Let me guess.
dragão.
You spoke
Por
with
que
that
não
old
pode ter uma
shrew,
bazuca?
Harriet Jones.
Pois é.
Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
É, o cara tem uma prótese em pleno Japão feudal. Com o gancho do Just Cause. Então,
She could have been
não
telling
dá
the
pra
truth
chamar.
about the mysterious man.
That old witch will end up in hell soon enough. Who cares if a nurse finds some happiness where she can?
No matter how you feel about her, Miss Jones deserves our help.
Apenas assim.
Who says I don't care for her? Hate is what keeps that old crone alive.
What can you tell me about the strange man visiting one
Ah,
of the
que ótimo.
nurses
Tem
during
outro chefão aqui.
Let me guess. You spoke with that old shrew, Harriet Jones. Do not pay attention to her, Doctor. She's full of fanciful tales.
É uma véia ardilosa.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
So many deaths. And what of my own life?
Good evening, Dr. Tibbets.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share?
Ah, cara, vai se fuder.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
I have no time for such triviality, my dear colleague. We're here to save lives.
Goodbye, Dr. Tibbets.
Mim, cara.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, good evening.
Do you know if any of the hospital staff have criminal backgrounds?
The people who work here all come from very different
pra mim deu de
backgrounds,
Sekiro
Doctor.
por hoje.
Just like the patients.
Se eu jogar mais um pouco, eu vou jogar o controle pela janela.
Não faça isso, é cara.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Have you seen a strange man visiting any of the nurses here?
I've never heard of such a thing, Doctor.
Aquela véia fofoquita.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need.
Alguém quer jogar um Fortinels?
Podemos jogar. Hoje eu tenho que achar só mais uma mulher. O quê?
Não, se quiser continuar jogando, eu acho outra coisa pra jogar aqui, Patrick.
A gente pode jogar.
É porque eu falei Fortinels. Se eu tivesse falado R6, o Patrick não jogava. Vamos entrar então, Brian.
Se vocês querem jogar R6, eu jogo também.
Eu tô muito nervoso com Fortinels. Com Sekiro. Com Sekiro. Melhor deixar o R6 para outro dia. Senão eu vou comer o controle. Se bem que aquela que a gente jogou. Que a gente jogou, Brian. Que a gente tava perdendo de 3-0 e os caras foram ficando com raiva. A gente começou perdendo de 3-0. O cara tava usando glitch e tudo. Os caras estavam muito loucos. Tava jogando pra caralho. O filho, né? Mas tipo assim. Forçava pela parede, fazia um esquema lá no Vila lá pra poder atirar através do escudo da Osa e tal. Aí beleza, 3-0. Lembre-se disso.
Obrigado pela moita, City. 3-0.
3-0. Aí, de repente, eu falei, já que tá 3-0, então se foda, agora eu vou jogar, né? Eu vou jogar de qualquer jeito. Aí fui lá e fiz 3K. Aí no quarto que eu ia matar, aí os caras me mataram, mas eles se mataram entre si também, tá ligado? Teve fogo amigo. Daí começaram a ficar nervoso. Aí foi 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. Quando chegou no 3-3, um quitou do lado deles. Aí foi 4-3. Na hora de fazer o 5-3, os caras estavam tão nervosos que começaram a se matar entre eles. Antes da briga começar.
What's going on?
I'm Blight, sir. Newton Blight. I've lost my mate. Can't find
Aí a gente ganhou porque um matou o outro matou o outro e um pulou do telhado.
Oswald and myself were both infantry, sir. We were en route for the hospital, but
Eles começam a ficar nervosos, começam a se matar.
we had a disagreement. And Oswald ran off
E
to
daí a
Oswald.
gente ganhou, sem fazer esforço na última ainda.
I can't go there. Too many rats by the water. Fucking rats. Can't stand them since the war, sir. Can't stand them at all.
Don't be ashamed, Mr. Blight. Many soldiers who survive the trenches suffer from musophobia. I'll see what I can do for your friend.
France!
I have all the information I need for now. If I find anything out about your friend, I'll let you know as soon as I can.
Thank you, Dr. Reed.
Tá, eu vou sair aqui pra nós jogar alguma coisa.
Pô, o que é o óculos da Apple faz?
Óculos da Apple?
É, a Apple tem um...
Eu já volto aí, pessoal. Já vou trocar de jogo. Qual jogo nós vamos jogar? Já voltamos.